Hello, everybody. Sorry about the late start time. We were hoping for a few more of our board to be able to join us tonight, but things have come up. Life happens, especially when we are a volunteer-driven organization. So I will be your host tonight. My name is John Anderson. I am Director of Media for NFOA. And those of you that have some questions or some comments, go ahead and put those into the live chat. I will do my best to field the questions and do my best to answer everything for everybody. We'll go over a little bit the hearing from LB773 that was this last Thursday in Lincoln in the Judiciary Committee. I was there to testify myself. So, and I heard almost all of the testimonies from both sides. There were no neutral testimonies, only for and against. So basically what has happened is as far as testimonies for, we Senator Brewer and Senator Slama, I believe, brought in Dr. John Lott. He is a very well-known published author. He is in charge of the Crime Prevention Research Center, and you can look that up online if you want to know a little bit more about him. But he testifies a lot in front of various legislatures. In fact, he had flown in from Indianapolis the night before, right into to Omaha, just in time to get some sleep, and then come over to Lincoln in the morning to testify in Lincoln as well, because he had just testified in the Indiana legislature the day before. So he gave a testimony and brought out some really good facts, really good statistics. A few of the rest of us testified on behalf of, in favor of the bill as well. And then really the only opposition testimonies that seemed to hold any weight with any of the senators were the members of the Omaha Police Department and the Lincoln Police Chief. And it sounds to me like Senator Brewer is already conferring with those bodies so that an amendment can be worked out, so that the police departments don't feel like they're being hamstrung or hindered in some way of getting gang members and drug dealers off the streets. And then it's also satisfactory to the rest of us and to Senator Brewer, who doesn't want to lose any more freedoms. In fact, that is I know he maybe misspoke, especially the clip that the news put up, where he said, we're giving people rights. He said later in another part of his testimony that it's a constitutional right, and we're giving it back to the people and securing that right. Let's see here. We have some comments. Aaron, I tell you what, I don't really have a way right now while I'm doing this to get a link out to you, but we will see maybe here when we do one of these about bringing you in so you can talk a little bit there too. Let's see. We've also got a question. Were there any surprises for me from the questions perused by the senators? Not real. Well, okay. I shouldn't say not really. Actually, yes. Some of the questions that Senator McKinney, who is the senator now for the district where Ernie Chambers was senator for, until he term limited out, and Senator McKinney was elected to take that spot. He had some really great comments, some really great questions, and it sounded to me like maybe he wasn't expecting to find himself in favor of this bill, but he may end up being in favor of the bill. And now this is just my own take. This is not official NFOA stance on Senator McKinney, but just my interpretation of the things that he said and the questions that he asked. He may be an unlikely ally. We generally don't see Senator McKinney be an ally when it comes to pro-gun legislation, but in this case, he very well could be, and that would be a great thing to have happen. Let's see here. Gito wants to know, because he had to leave during the opposition testimony, did they ever address if LB773 covers weapons other than handguns? Uh, I think somebody did ask that to Senator Brewer, and I will have to double check and find out for sure because I can't remember now if he said it did or it didn't. I want it to cover all weapons, but I'm not sure, and we will get clarification. Once we know that, then we will get that pushed out as well. Um, all right. So uh, the next step, because we've got some things that we need to do now. First and foremost, at the end of the day, the biggest opposition was from the Lincoln and Omaha police departments, and Senator Brewer, who I spoke with briefly after the hearing, is very confident, very hopeful, and very confident that he will get things worked out with those groups so that they will remove their opposition. And if we can get them to remove their opposition, then there seems to be no reason why Senator Brewer can't can't convince Senator Lathrop, who is the Judiciary Committee chair, to go ahead and hold the vote on that bill, and it should pass. If not, Senator Brewer has the option of the poll motion, which still just kind of leapfrogs the committee and pulls the bill out to the floor for a full floor debate. He's got to get the Speaker of the Legislature with him on that, which I think may already have happened. I'm not entirely sure there. We'll get some clarification, but the bill is in great shape, and I am very, very optimistic that we can overcome any of the opposition that's kind of hanging up some of those senators. And if we can get that done, I think that we have enough senators in the committee who would be willing to go ahead and give a yes vote on that, or I'm very hopeful of that. So that would be great if we could just do it the right way and not have to mess with a poll motion. Um, Case wants to know, do I feel confident it will pass? If it goes to a floor debate, then I really believe it will. Of course, we'll hear maybe from a few senators from the urban areas that may not be in favor, but by and large, 91 of 93 counties are now 2A sanctuary counties. You guys did that. Just for the record, NFOA did not do that. We can't. We're just a couple of people that volunteer, and hopefully we've got members in every county, but we didn't send people out to each county to do this. It was done truly what they mean by organically, and that's what grassroots really means, right? Is 91 times somebody from that county approached the board and said, hey, would you put this on the agenda for a vote? The sheriff was on board, the county attorney was on board, and the county board voted it in 91 of our 93 counties. The only counties that have not gotten a measure in place to be a 2A sanctuary county are Douglas and Lancaster. And so we'll see what happens with those. But the fact of the matter is that the state of Nebraska wants this to happen. Our residents, our voters want this to happen, especially when you step outside of Lincoln and outside of Omaha. And a lot of people in both cities want it as well. So I'm very confident that if it gets to the floor and after a good debate that it does pass. And Governor Ricketts has already expressed that if the legislature passes it, sends it to his desk, he will definitely sign it. So I'm optimistic. I'm very confident at this point, but that doesn't mean that there's no work to do, that that we don't have to let our senators know that we want them to pass this. So now is the time to contact not only the senators on the Judiciary Committee, but your state senator in your district where you live. And I've said this many, many times because it bears repeating. If you live in one district and you work maybe in a different district, then you've got two senators and two districts where you have a vested interest. Maybe you own property, you live somewhere in the eastern part of the state, but you own property in a different district or out west or somewhere else. So you've got a vested interest in that district as well. So you can contact all of the senators. You can contact all of the senators if you want to. That would be amazing. But if you explain that you live here, you work here, you own property and pay taxes here, those senators care about what you have to say. And honestly, when it gets to a lot of these bills, senators don't always hear from a lot of people. So if they hear from a dozen of you, each senator, if they heard from a dozen people, that's going to be huge. That's going to make them sit up and take notice. Um, so let's see, what else do we have here? Pull that back off the screen. So yeah, if you have questions, go ahead and throw those out into the live chat, both on Facebook and YouTube. Do I think it would get filibustered? Aaron wants to know. I think they'll try, but I think that if Nebraskans do their part, we have enough votes to overcome a filibuster. And so, what do I mean by Nebraskans doing their part? Contact your senators. Talk to your neighbors. When you are at the coffee shop, make sure you're having conversations with everybody else, and make sure that that they know that you can call, you can write, you can email. If you know your state senator, if they have a local office in your town or your county, or you know who they are, maybe they're your neighbor. You can actually talk to them face to face, but let them know that this is important. And there are, I think, 20 co-sponsors right now. I was going to pull those up, and forgive me for not being prepared. So let me just do this real quick and pull this bill page up. And then we'll click right there. All right. So as the bill was introduced, there were several co-sponsors to begin with. And excuse me, I can't see comments right now because I'm on a different tab. So I will catch back up to comments here in a second. Introduced by Senator Brewer, and then co-sponsored in its introduced form by Senators Albrecht, Bostelman, Brees, Clements, Erdman, Flood, Gregert, Groen, Halloran, B. Hansen, which I think is Ben, Lindstrom, McDonnell, Merman, and Slama. And then after it was introduced, we had Senator Linehan, Senator Sanders, Senator Brandt, who was on the Judiciary Committee, asked a lot of great questions. Senator Williams, Senator Lowe, and Senator Dorn have all added their names on as co-sponsors. And Senator Dorn was just added on the 22nd or 21st rather. So that was even after the hearing. So that's really great. All right, let's go back over here to where I can see comments here. You know what? Let's talk about that. Aaron says concerns that he's heard from some people are that once you have constitutional carry, the people of Nebraska are not going to educate themselves when it comes to laws. Now, that's another thing that needs to be addressed tonight. Is right now, in order to get the CHP, you have to sit through 8 hours of class. Several of those hours involve the legal aspect, the laws in the state, the things that you need to know to be a concealed carrier, where you can carry, which places are prohibited, the rules about alcohol or controlled substances in your system, duty to inform when you have an encounter with an officer, what stand your ground means, where it applies, where it doesn't. All of these things are covered in the class. If you don't know the answers to these questions, or you don't know the details, then it would behoove you as a responsible citizen to learn all that before you decide to concealed carry. So if this is passed, and if we get constitutional carry in our state, then anyone who could open carry right now, anyone who is able to possess the firearm and purchase the firearm, no, not a prohibited person, of course, but anybody who is able to possess the firearm and can open carry it would then be able to concealed carry it. But there are different rules for concealed carry. We have places that open carry is allowed where concealed carry isn't. So I honestly don't think that we would see a big problem with a lot of people not getting not getting training. What we see in neighboring states is that training classes actually increase and interest increases. First and foremost, because instructors can tailor a class to cover just the legal side. maybe somebody's been shooting their whole life. They don't need to learn how to load a magazine or how to clear malfunctions. They already have that down. They just need the legal aspects. So a instructor can tailor a course just for that part without having to make people sit through the other parts of the class that they don't really need to be taught because they already know it. So that would increase interest in training, and it seems to in all of our neighboring states. And another thing that seems to, and I know this is counterintuitive, but what seems to happen is that the actual permits, which aren't going away, they'll still be available. Those permits actually increase in number as well, because once people get used to carrying concealed within the state, then when it's time for a vacation, road trip, something like that, to cross state lines or maybe multiple state lines, we have some states that we neighbor that don't require a permit to carry right now. In fact, we neighbor 6 states. 5 of them have constitutional carry in place. That would be Wyoming, South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas. Colorado is the only state that we border that doesn't have constitutional carry. But if you go into Colorado, you would need a Nebraska CHP in order to concealed carry in Colorado. Or maybe you'd go to one of the other states that hasn't enacted constitutional carry yet. And so people who get used to carrying decide, well, I'm going to go ahead and get my CHP so that I don't get jammed up because I forgot. When I live in Big Springs and I drove over to Sterling, I forgot that I can't concealed carry in Colorado. So having the permit would go ahead and allow you to do that. Let's see here. Let me go back through comments as I field all these by myself. And again, if you're just joining us, some of our other board members, things came up, and I am the only one here right now to weigh in on this. So I will do my best to get the info out and answer everybody's questions the best I can. Great question. So any idea on how the breakdown pro and con of online submitted comments look? Yes, the chairman actually announced that right before Senator Brewer's closing comments after all of the testimonies were over. And we broke a record last year when I was there for the quote unquote gun day in Judiciary, where we had, I think there were 8 bills that got heard between morning and afternoon. It seemed like the average was around 30, 33 submissions for the bills that we were for, or if it was a bill that we were against, then roughly 30 submissions against that bill versus 2 or 3 maybe on the other side. And that seemed to be kind of a common theme for most of the bills that were heard that day. Now, this year, only 1 bill was heard on last Thursday. That was the only bill that they heard all day in that committee, or in the afternoon anyway. But Senator Lathrop announced that, and again, I want to preface this by saying, since they made it to where you could only go online, emails weren't allowed, or written letters weren't allowed to be entered into the public record. This is what's amazing. With only a week's notice, 196 of you submitted comments in favor of the bill versus 30 in opposition, and I believe 1 in a neutral capacity. And of course, he doesn't let us know. He doesn't read them all. We don't know who did what. But I tell you what, it was amazing. It was a great feeling to know that 196 of you got your comments in that couldn't be there in person. And I want to mention that real quick too, because Senator Brewer has kind of got the mentality that a couple of years ago, when the halls were just flooded with people and some of the senators didn't necessarily feel safe, even though I guarantee that was the safest building in the state that day, some of the more liberal senators asked for police escorts out to their vehicles, and they said that they just didn't feel safe. And that's fine. I don't want to make light of their feelings. They're entitled to feel how they feel. So Senator Brewer didn't put a call to action out asking everybody to show up and flood the Capitol building halls. But I kind of get the impression that if, worst case scenario, this bill doesn't go anywhere or it doesn't pass, when he tries again, because I'm sure he will, that the call to action will go out and that Senator Brewer will be asking for everybody to come to Lincoln and flood the halls again in a show of support. So I know that some of the people this last week were very relieved that the halls weren't crowded full of people and there weren't a lot of open carriers walking around. That, again, we know that some people get nervous, even though there really is no call to do that. But I think that it was a kind of a show of good faith on Senator Brewer's part that, hey, we can do this. We're not going to, but just be aware that if you guys don't want to play ball with us, then we'll get Nebraska to come to the Capitol and we'll get Nebraska involved. And so just knowing that 196 of you that didn't come and be in the hallways still submitted your or put in those submissions online, that was awesome. So thank you, all of you, for doing that. Let's see here. Let me go through some of these again. DJ Play Nice, post links to what I'm referring to. You're going to have to get specific, and I may have to post them in the description after the fact, because, again, I'm trying to do all this by myself. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm referring to at that point that you're saying. Let's see here. Perhaps the state could put just a video out on the laws. It's 2022 and people watch instruction videos all the time on various topics. That's a great idea. If this is passed, I give you my word on my commitment to put together some sort of handout, some sort of instructional material as well from NFOA, so that we can help educate our fellow Nebraskans, because that's what we're about. We're not only a lobby group to help get some of these laws passed, but we're about education, we're about instruction, we're about safety, right? And so you have my word that we will work on getting some resources out as quickly as possible. Keep in mind that we have almost 10,000 members, but we have a handful of people that ever volunteer to actually help out. And by handful, I mean literally, I've got probably more fingers than volunteers that are consistently doing things time and time again. So call to action, Nebraska. Whether you're a member or not, you can volunteer to help us. If you're not a member and you're a Nebraskan and you're a firearm owner, you should be a member. It is free to join. We will never charge you membership dues. In fact, the board can't even vote that we're going to start, because it's in the bylaws of the organization that we'll never charge membership dues. And so, that being the case, you can be a member, and the next time a bill comes up and our president, Trish Harrold, sits down to testify on behalf of our members, when she says almost 10,000 members now, I'm hoping by next year we can say over 20,000, 30,000, 50,000. I would love to have, as many members as we can. But we also need some volunteers. If you have skills, please use that email address that's going across the bottom of the screen, info@nebraskafirearms.org. And let us know what you're good at, because we can find a way to put your skills to use if you're willing to help out and be a volunteer. And then as things go, we can also, once you're a member, then you get the emails. We can send out email blasts saying, hey, we have this particular need. If this is your skill set, hit us up, because we need some volunteers to help out with this. It might be just manning a booth at a gun show across the state. We would love to get somebody at every gun show in Nebraska handing out some flyers, things like that. So yeah, some instructional videos and then some people to help do some of that will be definitely, like I said, you have my word on the commitment there. All right, let's see. We've got a few comments and a few people joining us again. Yes, and I just want to reiterate this, what Jeff said. And I've never been to handgunlaw.us, but you can check that out. There are lots of places with good reciprocity maps, I know that US Law Shield and USCCA both have some good resources on their websites. You can go check those out as well. But yeah, if you're going to travel, make sure you do your research, not only in our state. Be a responsible citizen and make Nebraska proud. When you go into other states, know their laws too, and make sure that you're not violating any of those. Because if you get pulled over and you're in Colorado and you have a 16 round, 18 round magazine, you're carrying a Glock 17 with 17 rounds in the magazine in Colorado, that is a no-no. That's illegal. They have a 15 round magazine capacity limit. So make sure you know the laws, and that you don't have to say, well, I wasn't aware, because there's no judge that's going to let you off by saying I wasn't aware. That's just not a defense. M. Gabriel, I heard that Senator Brewer was cut off on the audio at the end of his closing statements. A lot of people said that they got the gist of it, and I do know that one of his aides in his office actually, by the time I got out of the hearing and down the hall and stepped back into Senator Brewer's office, one of the aides was just getting off the phone, and they had been in contact with NETV, who does those live feeds, trying to find out what was the deal and make sure that doesn't happen again. Let's see here. Don't worry about my bug assault back there, M. Gabriel. Let's see here. Angry Guy says, do we have a membership drive? How do we gain members for our organization? Slowly and steadily. We do a lot more on social media these days. We have a lot better engagement on social media. And here's what's crazy, and another call to action. We have almost, excuse my puppy here. Give me just a second, guys. Let me remove the dog. Come on. Out. Come on. Come on. Nothing like a live broadcast, guys. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. We are, I said we're volunteers. Doesn't mean we're professionals. We have almost 30,000 followers on our Facebook page alone, and we have just shy of 10,000 members in our state. So I am not convinced that 16,000 plus followers on Facebook are non-Nebraska residents. That seems not likely. So a lot of you follow along on Facebook. A lot of you watch on YouTube. Maybe you're not a member. You've never been to NebraskaFirearms.org and signed up to become a member. So please go and do that. I know that right now it says you have to be a resident to be a member, but we're working on getting some of that changed on the website, because we do have associate memberships for out-of-state members. You just don't get full member status. You can't vote when it comes to board elections and things like that. But we definitely will be working on getting that cleaned up, so that we don't turn people away just because you don't live in Nebraska. You might still care. You might still want to get the emails. Let's see here. More dog. Yeah. All right. So what else do we have for questions? That really is most of what I was going to go over. Let's see. I know I've got some notes here. A few questions that I've seen coming off of our Facebook page. Let's see. We had a lot of people want to know some questions as far as what the bill does and doesn't do. We already established that I will double check on whether it's true constitutional carry, allowing a concealed weapon of any kind versus only a handgun. We will get clarification there. Because even reading through the text of the bill, I mean, it's 29 pages long, but so much of that is because they have to list the entire statute that gets revised, even if only 6 words get struck through and 3 words get added. They have to list the whole statute in the bill to say, you know, the parts that didn't get touched and the parts that did. But having said that, it's tedious reading, and to go through and try to keep everything straight, if you're not an attorney, then, and you didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express recently, then it's really hard to understand some of what the bill actually says. So we'll get some clarification there. People wanted to know if this will lower the age to carry to 18. It will not in its current present form. And I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, and that's not what probably any of us want ultimately. But keep in mind how the legislative process works. If we had our way, they would just remove all laws, all gun control laws at once, right? But we know that's not realistic. The way that we have lost these rights over the years is because they have chipped away an inch at a time, right? It's like a football game. You want to get to the end zone, but let's settle for a first down right now. And in the process of getting that first down, we have to make sure that we're gaining yards on every play, right? So we need to make sure we're not losing ground, that we're gaining ground. But that's why they say football is a game of inches. And legislation really is kind of the same way. Let's get what we can right now in a small bite. Then once we have constitutional carry in place, then we have another session that we can go back and revisit things like preemption, things like at what age do constitutional rights kick in, things like that. If you're a legal adult, all those things. So those are battles to be fought a different day. And I know that some of you don't want to hear that, but there is a little thing that some of us like to live in called reality. And the reality is we don't get everything we want every session in the legislature, and it's never going to happen. And so we'll take what we can get, and then we'll push for more in the next session when the time comes. But that's what NFOA is here for, is to listen to our members, see what or hear what you have to say, and then find out what's important. And then we can direct you to contact your own legislators, because NFOA can't submit a bill, but we can sure help as much as we can with shaping the way that bills are drawn up, things like that. But again, we are our members. NFOA, for those of you that aren't aware, NFOA doesn't have a building somewhere. We don't have a brick and mortar headquarters. We don't have a headquarters at all. We have a PO box for correspondence that needs to be mailed, and we have a phone number. And most everything is done through email or through our social media. We do have, once you go to nebraskafirearms.org, then there is a link to our online forum, and you can still do the old message board style forum there, and people still use that too. And we do communicate things on that forum as well. Meeting minutes, all those things go out there. Any calls to action will go there along with an email blast. So that's another way that you can keep up. And then we try to make sure that right now Facebook gets updated. We're working on handing the reins over on what else do we have? Twitter, Instagram, and I'll find out if there are any other platforms. But our volunteer that was keeping those up has had a job change and just doesn't have the spare time anymore. So as director of media, I will be taking over some of those feeds as well and making sure that things go out to them. But in the meantime, we're mostly right now operating on Facebook here on YouTube and Facebook with the live streams, and then through the emails. So, all right, let's see here. Let's see. Gun websites out there. Hey, G wants to know, do we have any 2A rallies planned in 2022? Not that I'm aware of, but I would love to find out that somebody is going to pick up that mantle and be the planner for a 2A rally. And if I can get off work, I will be there. That would be awesome. M. Gabriel wants to know about the hat. We had a donation drive last summer where people gave donations, and then we have some free gifts. There were hats, there were t-shirts, there were some quarter zip pullovers. And we've tried to take that merchandise to several places around Lincoln and Omaha to hand it out, but nobody seems to show up to get them. We will have to mail them out, which is going to negate the donations that we got, because we were hoping people could pick things up in person. So having to mail out every piece individually is going to kind of kill any extra donations that came in with that, and we'll be happy to break even. So if you can pick your things up in person and you're in the Omaha area, or Lincoln area. We can make arrangements to get things to Lincoln, Omaha, some of the surrounding areas. So send an email to info@nebraskafirearms.org, and just let us know where you are, and we'll try and work something out with you as far as a way to get those handed off, so that we don't have to spend the postage on all of them. And if we do another donation drive, we will be sure and just plan on budgeting in shipping on each piece, because that way we won't have to worry about it. Let's see. Aaron says that a lot of people want to know if they can just send a check. We can, and if Trish was here, she'd tell you the PO box number and what the address is. But that's a great question. Where'd my notepad go? Let me make a list of things that I'm going to find out, and then we'll get it posted up on social media, and we can even compile a list of the questions and the answers to put them in an email. So any weapon was one question, and then the PO box address for checks. But yeah, we don't send emails out asking you for your money. We may do a donation drive occasionally, but we don't send emails that say, "Hey, the sky is falling. If you don't send us $25, then you're going to lose all your guns and all your rights." We know that there are some organizations that get their donations by being a little alarmist. We don't do that. We don't ever solicit your money, and we don't even ask you to pay anything to be a member. We absolutely will take your donations, though. I don't ever want to turn that down. If you want to help us out financially, then we will take that support. But I'm here to tell you that just as important, if not just as valuable, if not more valuable than the financial donations, are donations of your time, your effort, your skills. We need those. We need them badly, and we need them all across the state. We have got 7 people on the board, and a handful of people who are volunteers that we know we can count on, and they're all around the Omaha, Lincoln area, except for a few of us. And I live in Norfolk. We have a board member that lives north of O'Neill, and everyone else is within an hour's drive of the middle of Omaha. And so we're very heavy on that part of the state with getting things done, and some volunteers. But if you are, out across the state, Grand Island, Kearney, North Platte, McCook, Chadron, Scotts Bluff, Kippahaw County, where I come from, we would love to have volunteers doing things, moving and shaking all across our state. And the more volunteers that we have, and the more moving and shaking we can do as an organization, the louder our voice gets in Lincoln, everybody. So let's make that happen. That would be amazing to have that happen. Angry Guy is great finding those, and so is G-Webs. Finding those. Thanks for doing that search for me. Let me verify that is correct. I hope that's current. But you can send those checks to NFOA P.O. Box 27131, Omaha, Nebraska 68127. So thank you, G-Webs and Angry Guy, for putting those up there in the comments. I'm just going to put this, that is on the YouTube side. I'm going to re-type that. Excuse me. Sorry, guys, I can't type while I'm talking. I can't talk while I'm typing, but I'm going to put this on the Facebook side for those of you out there watching on Facebook. Go box 27131. Oh, too many buttons there. Omaha, Nebraska 68127. All right, that's going out to the Facebook side too, so you will have that available there. All right. And let's see, what else have I missed? I will verify that is the correct address. If you don't see a post or get an email say with a different address, then go ahead and use it. I'll make sure that that's correct. So Yeah, the legislature website is also great for keeping track of what's going on. I can give you the link to that specific bill. All I need to do is copy and paste. I'll put that link out in both YouTube and Facebook right now. So if you want to go to LB773, as you look at that, you know what? Let's just do this. I can share this tab. We want to do this tab. We want that one right there. So as we go through, this is what the page looks like when you are first get to LB773, introduced by Brewer, introduced January 5th, which I believe was the first day that he could introduce a bill. Text copies. You click on introduced, it'll open up a new window with the PDF version of the bill itself, and then as amendments come in, those will be listed in here as well. It's too late now, the hearing's already happened, but this would be the place. If it's an upcoming bill moving forward in the legislature, this is how they're going to do all their submissions for those that can't be there in person. So you just click on this and it would open up a little window. You'd put in your name, your address, whether or not you want your comment on the public record, and then give you a place for is it 500 words or 500 characters? I want to say 500 words that you could put in the box to put your statement in there. But they cut those off for every bill. They cut them off at noon on the working day prior to the hearing. That way they have time to get them all compiled, and they all go to one place this way. They don't have to try to come up with all of the emails, all of the paper letters, all of the phone calls, all that kind of stuff. This way nothing gets slipped through the cracks. And so, but that is how you can keep track of this bill right here is that link that I just put up there, and that's going to take you right here. All right, let's pull that back off the screen. There we go. All right. Aaron is one of our volunteers. He goes to a lot of gun shows, a lot of events, handing out flyers and just raising awareness for NFOA. So if anybody wants to volunteer, go ahead and just reach out to info@nebraskafirearms.org with your contact information. We'll get that to Aaron if you want to help out at one of the gun shows. And even if you want to just do your own thing at a gun show, let us know. Reach out to us. Please, we want the volunteers. We want the help. We need the help. We need the bodies. NFOA, like I said, we're not a what, we're a who. And it's you. You are the NFOA. I'm the NFOA. That's how this works. People decide that they want to give some of their valuable time and effort to the cause. And like I said, we'll put that to use the best we can. Let's see here. I don't see a lot of other comments. If I've missed a comment, it was not my intent. If there's a question that needed to get answered, go ahead and resubmit that over into the chat. But there we go. So like I said, go ahead and if you asked a question, I didn't get to it. I didn't intentionally mean to not answer your question, but go ahead and throw those out there. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap this up and end the live stream. But I do want to, we will schedule another one of these when, again, at least our president, Trish Harrold, can be here with us, because she has a lot better info. She knows a lot of the answers that I don't know. And she is, like I said, she was not able to join us tonight, but we will do this again, hopefully very soon. So stay tuned, and we will work on getting it rescheduled. It'll go again out on YouTube and Facebook. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. And then once you do it, there's a little bell there for notifications. Make sure you click there and select all. That way, once we schedule something or go live or any videos come out on our page, then You'll get notified of everything that happens. And if you have not yet liked us on Facebook, please go and do so as well. If you do both, then please be a subscriber on YouTube and a follower on Facebook. That would be great. But again, there are almost tens of thousands of you who are on Facebook who are not members. So please go to nebraskafirearms.org, click on become a member, go ahead and put your info in there. And again, even if you're not a resident of Nebraska, I'm telling you, you can put your info in there and we can get your email address on the distribution list for our emails. We have plans of firing back up a newsletter, possibly quarterly. I don't know that we have anybody that's got the time and the resources to do a full newsletter monthly yet, but it may be quarterly. But we're going to work on getting that back together too, so people get some regular updates. And as we move forward, we'll keep things going. So I don't see any more questions coming in right now. So I think we will wrap things back up, but please stay tuned. And again, reach out to your state senators. Reach out to the senators on the Judiciary Committee. Let me pull up the committee and just list these again. Judiciary Committee. So I will give you the names. If you can't write them down right now, you can play this back after the fact and get the names. But these are the committee members for Judiciary Committee, the committee that needs to vote on LB773. The chairperson of the committee is Senator Steve Lathrop. There's also Senator Tom Brandt, Senator Wendy DeBoer, Senator Suzanne Geist, Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Adam Moorfeld, Senator Patty Pansing Brooks, and Senator Julie Slama. So those are the 8 senators on the committee. They are the ones that need everybody to contact them. You can go to, let me go back here. You can go to nebraskalegislature.gov is the website for our legislature. And then on the left side of the page, you can see senators, all the little links here. You can get to senators, committees, bills, all those things. If you click on senators, then it drops down another box. There's a link to find your senator, and I will share that link as well. Copy and paste. So if you're not sure who your state senator is, where you live, you can plug your address in and it will tell you who that is. So there's the link for that. But please contact not only the Judiciary Committee, but all of the senators. Let them know that you want them to support this bill. And again, let's just go back here to let's read these through, because if one of these is your state senator, then please let them know how much you appreciate them co-sponsoring this bill. And again, that would be Senator Brewer, Senator Albrecht, Senator Bostelman, Senator Brees, Senator Clements, Erdman, Flood, Gregert, Groen, Halloran, Ben Hansen, Lindstrom, McDonnell, Merman, Slama, Linehan, Sanders, Brandt, Williams, Lowe, or Dorn. Those are the senators who have already signed on to co-sponsor. So if any of those senators are your senator, please let them know that we appreciate it and that we like that they signed on with that. Another question, let's see. Is not a question, more of a comment. It is okay to contact all the senators, especially if it goes on the floor for debate. But the more senators that hear from Nebraskans, the more buzz we can create in those hallways between the offices around the proverbial Capitol water cooler, the better our chances are of getting this passed. So make it the buzzword, make it the hot ticket item that they're all talking about, how they've never had this kind of response from their constituency before. Flood them with comments. you can do multiple things. You can email them, you can call them, you can write them letters. You can again talk to them in person if you get a chance to. Whatever you do, please be respectful. Please remember that we'll catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Don't call them names or do anything like that. Just ask them to please give the bill their support, or thank them for giving the bill their support if they're on that list of names that I just read off. But even before it goes to the floor for debate, we need to create some buzz. And then if it does make it to the floor, we need to create a lot more buzz and make sure that those senators understand that the state of Nebraska wants this to go through. Um, Another question, is it worth reaching out to the committee if you already submitted comments? Yes, they have not had an executive session and a vote yet. So make sure that they understand how important this is. Make it personal. Make them explain to them why this is important to you. But put it in your own words. We will not have a template or a form letter to attach your name to, because that doesn't really do anything, and it sure won't change anybody's mind who maybe is on the fence. But if they hear a personal story or some great, true common sense logic as to why it makes sense to pass this bill, they're going to listen to that, as long as you've put your personal spin on it. So go ahead and do that. But yeah, you can sure reach out to the Judiciary Committee members right now, because they have not voted. And the more people that Chairman Lathrop hears from, the more likely he is to decide to go ahead and give this bill an executive session and a vote, because he doesn't have to. Most of the bills that we testified for or against last year didn't go anywhere. In fact, 3 of those bills would have died in committee, and that's what it means when a bill dies in committee. They just never vote on it. It never goes to the floor for a full debate. 3 of those bills would have died in committee if they hadn't replaced the original LB773, and the original wording got thrown out. 3 of those other bills got combined into it, and that's what passed. They called it an omnibus. 3 things happened. Now you can actually have a rifle in a box, or a shotgun in a box, or in a gun case in the back end of your Suburban, because it's not the trunk, right? It's not the back of a pickup. It's the same compartment as the driver. That used to be illegal, and now it's not. Now, as long as it's not loaded, as long as the ammo is in a different container, your unloaded rifle, shotgun, pistol can be in a case or box. Anything that was actually designed for that gun, in the back end of a Suburban, minivan, what have you, and you're not committing a crime, even if you don't have a CHP, which used to be the case. So that's done. Plus, if you have a CHP, now you get notified at least 4 months before it expires that it's coming up. And if you didn't get in and renew it before it expired, now there's 30 days grace before you have to sign up for a CHP class and start over with fingerprints and a $100 fee. You've got 30 days to still renew it with just the $50 fee, no fingerprints. So those 3 things got put in, and they wouldn't have gone anywhere. Those bills were not going to get passed until the county by county constitutional carry bill got gutted. They got put in. Everybody was, I shouldn't say everybody was happy, but some senators got to say that they did something, and at least those bills got out of the committee and got passed. So, all right. But yeah, please go ahead and reach out to everybody on the committee, and then reach out to all the other senators that you have an interest in. And if you're ambitious and you want to contact every senator, it's fine. Please do so. They are our employees, right? So let's treat them with respect, the dignity that they deserve, but at the same time, let them know what you want and why. So I think with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Again, I can't stress this enough. Become a member. It's free. Please do so. I'd love to find out that from last week to next week, that just those of you watching this, you spread the word. Please share. I didn't talk about that. Hit the share button and send this video out on Facebook, YouTube. You can copy the link, put it in a text, an email, write it down, mail it to somebody, send it by carrier pigeon. I don't care how you do it, but please help us share the word. Please help share this video. The link that you use to watch tonight, it's going to be good. anytime now. So anybody can watch this on the replay, play back what I've said, and you can follow along on the YouTube side with the live chat, and on Facebook you'll be able to get to the comments as well. So please like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, but become a member and get your email address in for all of our email blasts that get sent out when we do need volunteers. And then it's a separate login. I know it's antiquated. We're working on it. But when you become a member on the website, then there's a second login that you need to create to get over to the online forum. But go check that out. There are some cool classified. You can buy, sell, trade, firearms, ammo, anything that doesn't break a law to do so. And there's a class for, or a section there for class 3, I believe, and things like that too. If you've got the right licenses, the right clearances from the government, you can buy, sell, trade. We don't restrict. We're not like some of those other social media sites that don't let you talk about guns and things like that. So go check those out. But that's a separate login. Just be aware to get into the forum. But that's available to everybody as well. Parts of it are available to everybody. There are parts as a full member that you have access to once you're vetted that you do actually live in Nebraska. And part of that is when it comes up for board members, then you get to vote. That'll happen again this fall. 2-year term, and it's coming up. November will be the last month. December starts a new term this year. So hopefully I will be able to get reelected and keep doing this for everybody. With that, we'll call it a night. Thank you, all of you, for watching. If you're watching live, thank you for being here. Thanks for being in the comments and asking the questions. I was very happy to be able to answer as many of those as I could. If you are watching this on the replay and you have questions, then you can leave a comment down below in the comments section, or email us info@nebraskafirearms.org. That is in the crawl going across the bottom of the screen on the whole broadcast tonight. So go check that out as well. And again, become a member and let us know what you're good at, because if you've got skills, we can put you to use in some way, shape, or form. The only ability that we require is your availability. So help us out if you can. And again, go ahead and send those donations if you want to, but it's free to join, free to be a member, always will be. We don't ever charge you to be part of our organization. So thanks, everybody. We will do this again as soon as we can. Have a good night.